Erik ten Hag blames one man after draw against Burnley today. Erik ten Hag expressed his frustrations after Manchester United's pitiful draw with Burnley and pointed the blame in one direction. Manchester United once again managed to go into the closing stages of a match in a winning position but failed to claim the 3 points on Saturday. Another dull match lacking in quality from Erik ten Hag's side only burst into life in the 79th minute when Antony pounced on a wayward pass and coolly converted under pressure. It appeared to be the winning goal, but nothing is ever so simple for United, and they couldn't hold out for the remaining few minutes. Andre Onana, who had earlier kept his side in the game, needlessly gave away a penalty when he punched Zeki Amdouni in the face. The forward dusted himself off to convert the spot kick and earned the visitors a priceless point. Ten Hag was not best pleased after the full-time whistle. Speaking after the match, Ten Hag had no complaints with the decision to give Burnley their penalty. However, he still managed to find reason to complain about refereeing as he bemoaned a lack of consistency from officials. The Dutchman felt United should have had a spot kick themselves for a handball incident, similar to the one Aaron Wan-Bissaka was penalised for in the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City. Managers, players, officials, fans, everyone is always blaming referees. Just look at Nottingham Forest, it's nothing new, but it sounds particularly desperate for a manager to be so forthright in his complaints when his side have just failed to beat a prime relegation contender. If United can't beat 19th place Burnley without the aid of penalties, then Ten Hag's time really is coming to an end. Ten Hag is sounding increasingly like a man under pressure in what could be his final games in charge. Antony did not disappoint the manager with his goal against Burnley. Manchester United winger Antony repaid the faith of manager Erik ten Hag by opening the scoring in the Premier League draw against Burnley on Saturday. The Brazil international has had a difficult campaign. He went into the Clarets game without a single goal from his previous 26 league appearances this season. Antony had a lively start where he induced a stop from goalkeeper Arijanet Murik before diverting the ball narrowly wide. He faded out of the game for a while but made amends by bagging the first goal in the 79th minute. The majority of the fans at Old Trafford were not pleased with Rasmus Højlund being taken off ahead of Antony, but the Brazilian repaid the manager's faith. The 24-year-old capitalized on a defensive mistake from Sander Berg. He still needed to show composure in the box after he was fouled in the lead-up. Aside from his goal, the 28 million rated star completed 88% of his passes with 62 touches. He won an impressive 10 ground and aerial duels alongside 4 tackles and 6 recoveries. It was one of his best performances of the campaign. The onus is now on him to replicate the showing when United face Crystal Palace on the road on May 6th. Marcus Rashford could be available for the South London trip after a minor injury, but we believe Antony should be back to start ahead of the Englishman. United are currently 6th with 54 points, one ahead of 7th place Newcastle United. They need to return to winning ways to stay in the Europa League race. After the visit to Selhurst Park, the Red Devils have back-to-back home games against Arsenal and Newcastle before a final day trip to Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester United fans can expect to hear Jeremy Frimpong's name mentioned frequently as we approach the opening of the summer transfer window. The Bayer Leverkusen starlet is fresh off the back of being crowned a Bundesliga champion following the German side's utterly sensational campaign. He has played an integral role at the heart of Xabi Alonso's squad as they cruised their way to a first-place league finish and embarked on a record-making 45-game unbeaten streak. Frimpong will be paying little attention to the speculation regarding any potential transfer, as Leverkusen have a DFB Pokal final and Europa League semi-final to prepare for before the season draws to a close. On the other hand, United's turbulent campaign has fans counting down the days until the squad can be bolstered sufficiently. It'll mark the first window of the Sir Jim Ratcliffe era, and he will be expected to make numerous statement signings to show his intent of how the club will be run and how they can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal next term. As such, attack-minded wingback Frimpong has seemingly caught the eye of the Red Devils hierarchy, as he has been heavily linked with an Old Trafford switch in recent weeks. The 23-year-old has notched a remarkable 13 goals and 11 assists in all competitions thus far. In a side that's often struggled to be clinical in front of goal, his creativity wouldn't at all go amiss in M16. However, Give Me Sport claims that United's potential pursuit of the defender hinges on whether Aaron Wan-Bissaka is sold, therefore leaving Diogo Dalot as the only right-back in the squad until another is sought. Wan-Bissaka is contracted to the club until 2025 after they opted to activate his one-year extension in January, giving them full control over his future. Bruno Fernandez warns teammates about over-reliance on young stars. Bruno Fernandez has hailed Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho for their influence on the first team, but warned his other teammates about being over-reliant on them. There is a sense of over-reliance on Mainoo and Garnacho. It can also be viewed as a positive because that over-reliance wouldn't exist if these two young players weren't special. It has been a dire season for United, but the two academy graduates have often been a silver lining for under-fire manager Erik ten Hag. In Wednesday night's win over Sheffield United, Ethan Wheatley became United's 250th academy graduate after being handed his first team debut. Fernandez praised the club's incredible academy but also argued that senior players need to step up to take some of the responsibility from the younger lads in the dressing room. It's up to the senior players to lead by example, and not all of them have been doing that. Fernandez deserves credit because he gives 100% effort every time he steps on the pitch. Denzel Ddumre's dreams of the Premier League was in plans of Manchester United until January. Inter Milan defender Denzel Ddumre was in the plans of Manchester United until January, according to Italian publication Gazzetta dello Sport. The Red Devils have been fancied to sign a new right-back during the summer transfer window with the uncertainty over the future of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's current deal expires in the summer of 2025, and he could be offloaded for a reasonable fee if no progress is made over a new long-term contract. Dumfries has been mentioned as a top target for the past few years, but Gazzetta dello Sport claim that United are no longer sending signals for the Dutchman. The Champions League finalist dreams of playing in the Premier League. He was in the plans of United until at least January, before their stance changed. Dumfries has been a key player for the Nerazzurri over the past few seasons, but the Serie A outfit are now contemplating his exit, having failed to negotiate a new deal. The right-back has been linked with United due to the Dutch connection with manager Erik ten Hag, but it appears the club are no longer interested in landing his signature. In our view, Ineos may have influenced the decision. Dumfries is already 28 years of age, and he may only be considered as a stopgap signing for the next couple of seasons. Instead, the new management under Sir Jim Ratcliffe may want a good long-term signing. Bayer Leverkusen's Jeremy Frimpong would be an ideal recruit in our opinion. He has managed 24 goal contributions this term and can be signed for just €40 million due to a release clause. United will need to convince Frimpong into a transfer. They must do so before Euro 2024. The 23-year-old's buyout clause will expire before the start of the tournament in Germany.